Ty. I've been doing music for, I'll say 12, 13, 14 years now. And how I got started with music, I always loved music. From ever since can remember, I always loved music. My dad and everybody that, they used to, drink with all their friends. In Vietnamese, we call it nhậu. And they used to, just sit there, drink and sing all the time. So music has always been part of my family. But as I got older, I just always loved music, from, Boyz II Men, Michael Jackson, Stevie B, just all the, old songs back then. I always grew up and loved it. And, since I can't sing, I just rap, you know what I'm saying? So I always did it that way, you know what I mean? So where I'm originally from, I was born in Nashville, Tennessee, raised in San Jose in my childhood days, and reside in Portland, Oregon now. So I don't really know much about Tennessee. I was only there until 2. Basically grew up in San Jose. Family came over here to San Jose, and when my mom and dad split, we moved to Portland, Oregon. When I was like 11, 12 years old, moved to Portland, Oregon, and ever since then I've been there. Who or what inspires me to do music is basically just everything, from my family, my kids, my homies, from being in the streets, just living my life day to day, and just still trying to make it, you know what I mean? So a lot of things inspire me. But mainly my family and my kids is the number one thing that inspires me. The struggles I had to overcome growing up was just coming from a poor family of poverty, you know what I mean? Just not having a father around, and being just living in the streets and the whole gang life, you know what I mean? And having people, basically try to kill you and things like that, but still at the same time trying to stay positive and do music. There's a lot of struggles, you know what I mean? But, that's what it is. Like basically, my mom worked all her life, and she always worked in a restaurant job. And my dad, he was basically just, to me now when I think about it, he's basically a deadbeat dad. He never really did shit. I don't remember him teaching me anything, teaching me how to be a man, teaching me to do anything. All he did was drink and just yell and, basically beat us. Me and my brothers, we came from a real abusive family, like we got beat a lot. And my dad broke my leg before, so I don't really recall him doing anything for us. And my mom just basically working, that's it. And we kind of just take care of ourselves. If y'all don't remember, back in the late 80s and the 90s, there used to be a restaurant in the Lion Plaza called Pho 54. Pho 54 used to be in the Lion Plaza. I don't know if y'all remember that. But whoever does remember that, it used to be in the Lion Plaza. That's where she worked at. And Pho 54, they happened to open in Portland too. While my mom was working there, they opened up in Portland, and that's when my mom and dad already split and everything. And the owner over there asked my mom if she wants to go over there and work at the restaurant in Portland, and that's how we ended up in Portland. You know what I'm saying? But it's crazy. 454. Now I'm with 454. Like 10 years later. You know what I mean? Back then when I was growing up, I got picked on a lot. You know what I'm saying? When I was real young. And after so long just getting picked on, I started, eventually just hanging out with gangs and things like that, and finally got my hands on a gun. And, right when I got my hands on a gun, I felt, just more powerful, you know what I'm saying? So, like, the first time when I had my first shootout, I was only about 13 years old. And I was in about 7th, 8th grade around that time, and it was like after school. Another gang came through, and they wanted to pick on us because we was like little Vietnamese kids, small little Vietnamese kids at the time, and everybody else is bigger. And they came around, and I was with a couple of my friends, and they had like 20 people, man. We had about 5, 6, 7 people, and I just told all my friends to run, and everybody just started running, and I was on my bike. And I drove my bike into the middle of the street, and I stopped right there, and I was thinking in my head like, man, fuck this, you know what I mean? I have a gun on me, this is my, my chance, like, fuck it, you know what I mean? So I just cocked it back, and I just aimed it at the biggest person I could see, you know what I'm saying? And they were probably like, I'm thinking like 40 feet away from me about that. I just aimed at the biggest dude I could look at. I just had one eye open like this, and after I shot the first one, I just and lit the whole thing up. And after I was done, I just jumped on my bike and I just started smashing off. But then they started shooting back. And when they shot back, I could just hear the bullets flying right by my head. And I was lucky because when I was riding the bike, I had my head down like this, pedaling. If I was standing up pedaling, trying to go fast, it would have hit me in my head. You know what I mean? So when I was pedaling, I could just hear the bullet like shoot, 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 like that. You know what I mean? And after that, you know, like I'm talking about this because I got caught for that. You know, I was about 7th, 8th grade, and they tried to charge me with attempted murder on that one, but they just dropped it to assault 1. You know what I'm saying? Because I was so young at the time, and they didn't charge me as an adult. So, you know, I got lucky with that one. The day when I got shot was I was about 17, 18 years old. You know, was at a house party, me and the homies, and these two cats came through that wasn't invited. And we, you know, when we told them to leave, they can't be there. You know what I'm saying? They was acting up, so we just mopped them up. You know, we started, you know, basically got up on them and just laid them down. You know what I mean? And after that, we left. We went back in the house. But I guess when they left and came back with a couple more of their homies, and before they shot up the house, you know, they started. I heard a couple rounds go off. So I figured, you know, that was, I don't know if it was warning shots or they were shooting at the house or whatnot. But when I heard that, I went to grab my gun. And when I grabbed the gun, I cocked it back. And when I ran to the front door to open it to shoot back, the whole door got lit up. Right when I grabbed the doorknob and I was about to turn it, the whole door got lit up from the top to bottom. Just so right when the door started busting, I dived down and I was trying to crawl out to get to a safer place. But when I crawled, the bullets were flying this way, and when I crawled, I put my arm up, and it hit me in my arm right here. So I was lucky because, you know, it basically passed my whole body and just hit my arm. And I finally got to a safer spot, and I just turned around, and I was like, fuck, I'm hit. And after that, they just dipped out, you know what I mean? So that's about it, you know. And my homie was lucky because my homie that was sitting next to me, he was about 6 feet, 230, 40 pounds. And basically, he was like right next to me, and I got hit. And at that time, I was probably like, you know, like a little skinny dude, you know what I mean? So, but it's cool though. I wasn't really tripping. It didn't hurt, you know. Like the arm, I don't know why it just didn't hurt that bad. You know, healed within a month. I was back to normal, you know what I mean? So I was really blessed to only get hit one time when they lit up the house over 50 rounds, you know what I mean? So everybody was lucky that day, you know what I mean? You know, the feeling was kind of weird. It kind of just like went into my arm. The bullet got stuck in my arm. It didn't go through. It basically got stuck and hit my bone. It broke my bone like this. And my bone's kind of sitting like that right here. But when I first turned around, right when I got hit, I turned around. The first thing that I did was move my arm. I moved my hand like this. And I was like, all right, I was thinking, oh shit, cool, my hand, I still got it. You know what I mean? I don't know why that I did that. It's just the first thought of it in my head, you know what I mean? So, definition of success really is to be able to take care of your family, to provide for your kids. You know what I mean? That's like the main thing. To give my kids what I never got. Just, you know, have a shelter for them and things like that, man. That's my definition. Take care of your family. Having your family well off, whether to my mom, to my kids, everybody in my family, you know what I mean? How it's like being a father and having 2 kids. I mean, having my kids is a blessing. You know, I love my kids, you know what I mean? Like to death, you know? Like when I'm back at home, I just, all my time go to my kids. I make sure, you know, they go to school, make sure they eat, make sure everything's on point, make sure everything's done for them, you know what I mean? I take a lot of my time with my kids, even, you know, my wife that I'm with, you know what I mean? We make sure our kids are on point 100%. Balancing everything out is hard, but you know, like I say, behind every successful man, there's a strong woman holding him down, you know what I mean? And the girl I have back at home, she holds it down back at home when I'm gone. So, you know, it is hard, but you know, it helps to have people working together to you know, make it happen, you know what I mean? So, my favorite rappers and artists growing up, well, you know, of course it's gonna be Tupac. You know, he inspired me, you know, a lot throughout my whole rap, you know, my rap thing. You know, he inspired me a lot. But what made me start was Bone Thugs and Harmony. You know, that Creeping on the Come Up CD. I used to bump that all day, all night, and I was just hooked on that CD, man. And the way they was rapping all fast like that, I just kind of sat there and mimicked it. That's why, you know, I think that created my style of rapping fast and things like that. And you know, and Pac, you know, bringing that deep life stuff, man, that hooked on me, man. So Tupac and Bone will be the main people that inspired me growing up. But nowadays I bump like a lot of Nipsey Hussle, J. Cole, You know, like Rick Ross is sick too. But you know, there's a lot of people, man. But the main person is of course Tupac and Bone. The projects I have coming up is the one I've been working on for the past about year or so. A little less than that is my street album. So yeah, I'm working on the street album right now. We're gonna give a release date here pretty soon, and I don't have a title yet. So once we get that going, we're gonna start, you know, pushing that. But it's coming out real soon. Hey, what's up, man? It's your boy Ty. Shout out to jackfruit.com for coming through, showing love and supporting the whole movement, man. One love, y'all.